Before Eve, there was Lilith, a figure shrouded in mystery, power, and a question that echoes through the ages. Was she really the first vampire in history? In ancient Jewish and Mesopotamian texts, Lilith is not just a name, but a symbol of rebellion, sensuality, and terror. And what if I told you that her legend is far darker than you imagine? In this video, we will explore the secrets of Lilith, the enigmatic figure who transcended eras as a goddess, a demon, and perhaps the first creature to drink human blood. We'll delve into her mythological origins, her connections to vampirism, and how she became an icon of freedom and fear. Throughout this video, we'll reveal how her story shaped beliefs and inspired legends that endure to this day. Stay until the end, and you'll not only uncover whether Lilith was the first vampire, but also unravel the darkest and most fascinating secrets of this figure, who continues to influence our culture and imagination to this very day. Lilith is a name that carries a profound symbolic weight, tracing back to ancient Mesopotamian traditions and Jewish mythology. In Sumer, she was associated with the Lilitu, wind demons that inhabited the dark nights, bringing fear and chaos. Represented as a powerful female figure, Lilith was seen as an entity of transgression and rebellion, standing out in a world largely dominated by male deities. These early mythical traits laid the foundation for her role as an archetype of female freedom and primordial fear. In Jewish mythology, Lilith takes on a more defined and controversial form. Considered by many ancient texts as the first wife of Adam, she was said to have been created at the same time and from the same substance as him. This positioned her as Adam's equal, a revolutionary concept for the time. However, her refusal to submit to male authority led to her fleeing Eden, where she found refuge on the shores of the Red Sea. This narrative reveals much about the conflicts between genders and power structures in ancient societies. The Alphabet of Ben Sira, a medieval Jewish text, provides intriguing details about her relationship with Adam. When Lilith rejected her subordinate position, she invoked the ineffable name of God and flew away, refusing to return even under pressure from 3 angels sent to retrieve her. As a consequence, she was cursed to lose 100 children, per Dalton Y. This curse not only transformed her into a tragic figure, but also into a feared demon, associated with the death of children and seduction. The parallels between Lilith and other female figures in mythology, such as Hecate in Greece and Inanna in Sumer, suggest a cultural syncretism that solidified her image as a complex entity. Lilith is not merely a figure of fear. She also symbolizes the innate power of rebellion and choice, challenging norms and provoking reflections to this day. Thus, her story transcends eras, carrying echoes of a rich and multifaceted past. The concept of Lilith as the first vampire emerges from the intersections between ancient myths and popular beliefs. In Hebrew folklore, she was described as an entity that fed on the blood of newborns, solidifying her role as a nocturnal demon. This association was reinforced by legends portraying her as a being that drained the life energy of her victims, both physically and spiritually. These traits became fundamental to her later connection with classical vampirism. Stories of Lilith often depict her as a succubus, a figure who manipulates dreams and seduces men to drain their vitality. This behavior, frequently associated with nocturnal emissions and nightmares, served as a mythological explanation for phenomena that ancient societies could not comprehend. Over time, these elements were incorporated into vampire mythology, intertwining sexuality and blood as central elements of their narratives. Lilith's influence as a vampiric archetype extends beyond Judaism. In Mesopotamia, for example, she was seen as a nocturnal spirit wandering in search of blood to feed on. This description echoes in the figures of vampires from medieval Europe, reinforcing the idea that Lilith was the precursor of this archetype. Her role as the mother of the Lilith, an army of demons who shared her traits, further expanded her influence on the collective imagination. In recent centuries, the figure of Lilith has been reinterpreted by writers and artists who directly connected her to modern vampirism. Literary and artistic works, such as those by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe and Jean Collier, portrayed Lilith as a seductive and deadly figure capable of inspiring both fear and fascination. This evolution demonstrates how her legend remains alive, fueling narratives that explore the boundaries between the human and the supernatural. Satan, also known as Satan Oz, is often described as the creator of Lilith. This rebellious being, whose name means the adversary or the wisest angel, is said to have been responsible for Lilith's entry into the newly created paradise. According to the poet John Milton, author of Paradise Lost, Satan was expelled from heaven after leading a colossal rebellion against Jehovah, the Almighty, in a fierce war among angels for the celestial throne. After his fall, Satan, consumed by his desire for revenge against God, decided to strike at man, the masterpiece made in the Creator's image and likeness. Inspired, he gave life to a female sculpture he carved with his own hands. From this creation came Lilith, his masterpiece, who became Adam's companion, involved in a relationship filled with lust and hidden desires. Adam found in Lilith the perfect partner to fulfill his carnal desires. She became his loyal companion, attending to all his wants and fantasies. However, over time, the relationship between Adam and Lilith began to deteriorate, marked by conflicts and disagreements. Lilith, a proud and independent figure, entered into a final confrontation with Adam and, in an act of rebellion, left Eden, flying to the shores of the Red Sea. During this time, God discovered Satan's plans and decided to create a new woman for Adam. While Adam slept deeply, God used one of his ribs to create Eve, a gentle, submissive, and spirited woman, made to be the ideal companion. Adam soon forgot Lilith and found comfort in Eve, living in harmony in Eden. However, Lilith, now dwelling among demons on the shores of the Red Sea, plotted her return. Eve, during a walk in the forest, encountered Lilith, a woman of majestic appearance, with long black hair, penetrating green eyes, and a body of voluptuous proportions. Intrigued, Eve was drawn to Lilith's magnetic presence. Lilith, perceiving Eve's naivety, approached her and started a conversation that culminated in convincing Eve to taste the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. This act marked the fall of man and woman, who were cursed with mortality and suffering. Divine wrath fell upon Lilith, whom the Almighty held responsible for deceiving Eve and leading mankind to ruin. As punishment, Lilith was condemned to become a vampire, destined to drink blood and wander eternally in darkness, reigning under the cold glow of the moon. Thus was born the first vampire in Jewish tradition, and with her came the curse that would doom future humanity, descendants of Adam and Eve, to suffer nocturnal attacks. Cain, the couple's firstborn, became Lilith's lover for a time, but her dark influence led Cain to commit the terrible sin of murdering his brother Abel. This act of violence paved the way for humanity to be marked by discord, betrayal, and tragedy. While wandering the land of Nod, Cain encountered Lilith, who recognized his state of weakness and need. With compassion, she took him in, offering him shelter and warmth. Lilith revealed herself to be the first wife of Adam, the original woman who had preceded the creation of Cain's mother. During the time they spent together, they became lovers. Cain soon realized that Lilith possessed extraordinary abilities and powers, desiring to acquire these gifts for himself. After persistent requests, Lilith, still reluctant, agreed to perform a ritual of awakening. She cut her flesh, letting the blood flow into a chalice, and offered it for Cain to drink. Upon consuming Lilith's blood, Cain was visited by 3 angels sent by God. Each angel offered him an opportunity to repent for the murder of Abel, but Cain rejected all their proposals. With each refusal, a curse was placed upon him: weakness before fire, vulnerability to sunlight, and the burden of the beast within, which incessantly cried out for blood. Finally, a fourth angel appeared, revealing the existence of Golconda, the only path to redemption and divine light through God's forgiveness. Transformed by his experience, Cain awakened to new powers, acquiring extraordinary abilities such as celerity, potence, fortitude, obfuscate, dominate, presence, protean, animalism, and auspex. He also became aware of the path of blood, the origin of all paths, and the essence of his new existence. Armed with these powers, Cain decided to sever the ties binding him to Lilith, leaving her behind and embarking on his own path. Lilith also plays a central role in occultism and various esoteric traditions, where she is often associated with hidden powers and forbidden knowledge. As the first vampire, she is seen as an entity that moves between the physical and spiritual worlds, feeding on the vital energy of her victims to sustain her eternal existence. In Kabbalistic texts, Lilith is connected to the Qliphoth, the dark side of the tree of life, representing not only the dangers of dark desires, but also the enlightenment that arises from transgression. For practitioners of occultism, Lilith is viewed as a figure who challenges established norms, encouraging the pursuit of self-knowledge and transcendence. Her thirst for blood is symbolically linked to the quest for power and forbidden knowledge, reflecting her nature as an entity that breaks barriers and expands horizons. Her connection to blood and forbidden knowledge directly ties her to the symbolism of the serpent in the Garden of Eden, reinforcing her image as a bearer of subversive wisdom and immortality. Esoteric traditions also attribute to Lilith the characteristics of a lunar goddess, associating her with the phases of the moon and natural cycles. With her energetic vampirism, she represents the duality of creation and destruction, absorbing the energy of others to maintain her eternal vitality. This connection reflects her ambiguity as both a creator and destroyer, capable of bringing both fertility and chaos. For many, Lilith symbolizes the balance between light and darkness, reminding us that true understanding requires acceptance of both aspects, just as the vampire accepts their need for darkness to survive. In contemporary magic, Lilith is often invoked as a powerful ally, particularly in practices related to personal liberation and female empowerment. Her image transcends time, representing the power of transformation through darkness and survival. She inspires those who seek to challenge conventions, explore new paths, and embrace their true essence. Thus, Lilith remains a vibrant and relevant figure in the world of occultism, uniting the past and the present in an ongoing narrative of transformation and discovery, where blood and mystery symbolize both life and rebirth. Over the past 2 centuries, the figure of Lilith has undergone a remarkable transformation, becoming a widely recognized icon of feminism and literature. Romantic writers such as Goethe and Dante Gabriel Rossetti were among the first to explore Lilith's duality as both a seductress and a destroyer. In Rossetti's famous poem Lilith, she is described as a woman of unparalleled beauty who uses her charm to allure and destroy. These works helped shape the modern image of Lilith as a symbol of power and mystery. In the 20th century, Lilith was reappropriated by feminist movements and spiritual groups, who saw her as an archetype of the independent and empowered woman. Her refusal to submit to Adam was reinterpreted as an act of courage and self-determination. Contemporary artists and writers continued to expand on this vision, using Lilith as a metaphor for the struggle against gender oppression and the claim for women's rights. Moreover, Lilith's popularity has grown within the realm of pop culture, appearing in films, television series, and video games. In Supernatural, she is portrayed as a powerful demon, while in True Blood and the chilling adventures of Sabrina, she is presented as a central mythical figure. These modern adaptations blend elements of her mythological origins with contemporary narratives, broadening her appeal to new audiences. The transformation of Lilith into a modern icon reflects the ability of her legend to evolve and adapt to different cultural contexts. From a feared figure in the shadowy nights of Mesopotamia to a symbol of resistance and freedom in popular culture, Lilith continues to captivate the imagination and inspire debates about identity, power, and female autonomy. Her legacy transcends time, solidifying her as one of the most intriguing figures in mythological and cultural history. Lilith transcends the condition of a mere mythological character and establishes herself as a timeless figure that reflects human dilemmas and aspirations. From her roots in Mesopotamia to her modern reinvention, she personifies the struggle for autonomy, knowledge, and freedom, often in opposition to imposed norms and expectations. Her story is a mirror of the social and cultural transformations that span centuries, offering a point of reflection for future generations. More than a symbol of resistance, Lilith also represents the intrinsic dualism of human existence. She is light and darkness, creation and destruction, freedom and isolation. This duality makes her a figure rich in meaning, capable of engaging with different contexts and interpretations. In every era, Lilith finds new ways to inspire, challenging conventions and paving the way for new perspectives. Her impact on popular culture, literature, and esoteric thought is a testament to her ongoing relevance. Lilith is not just a figure of the past. She is a living archetype, redefined by each generation that rediscovers her. Her presence in contemporary works, whether in films, books, or art, reaffirms her ability to capture the human imagination and spark debates on profound issues such as power, gender, and transgression. Lilith invites us to confront our own fears and desires, challenging us to embrace the complexity of life in all its facets. By exploring her legend, we uncover not only a fascinating figure but also a reflection of ourselves, with our contradictions and aspirations. Lilith remains, therefore, an eternal source of fascination and learning, proving that legends never die but transform, shaped by the eyes of those who behold them.